Is going on, my baboon brothers, my simian sisters? DJ's here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay analysis. Today we're going to continue with the long-awaited tournament series for the A Mariner Cup 4. Today we're reviewing the bracket finals. Whoever wins this game goes into the grand finals for the A Mariner Cup 4. Now, for all of you that don't know, the A Mariner Cup is the premier standard tournament in Advanced Wars by Web, where the best of the best standard players duke it out for the grand prize. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous games in the A Mariner Cup 4, I highly recommend it before checking this game because there's spoilers, obviously. For those of you who have been following along, we skated by Steezer in the first round, then we fought by Fluffy in the second round, then we marauded our way past medium mid tank in the third round, and now we are in the bracket finals versus Mr. ABC Cheese. Now, the game for this took place on the map Delphinus, and if you look at this map, it might look familiar. I actually had one of my most famous and popular games, and fun games too, ever on this map. If you haven't checked out the game, it was one of my earliest recorded games ever. It is a banger of a game, me versus Monty Sigurds, and if you haven't checked that out, highly recommend you do. But that was a different era. Back in that era, Delphinus did not have an added black boat here before. The same thing, but instead of a black boat, it was just a pipe seam. So they wanted to make it a little more balanced. Breaking the pipe seam was a little too obvious to do, so they added an extra layer to breaking the pipe seam. Now, instead of just two-shotting it, and then a tank shot, two shots with an artillery and a tank shot, it's broken for the most COs. Now you have to have two more artillery shots in order to get through. So, in a way to balance the map, and I agree with the changes. We'll break that down a little bit further, but what's notable about this map, other than the black boat gimmick, is that there's a very dedicated strong and weak side on this map. If you look at the weak base over here for black, look at this reinforce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't even get in this force. So if you're being attacked as black over here, you have to like put your tanks here in a defensive position. You can't fully extend your tanks out to battle. See, this is your property, but you can't even sit on it. If this was one property closer, black would never lose that property. But since it's one movement away from a tank, you can interrupt it, but you can't sit on it. So in fact, these properties are contested. This one could be contested as well, but black can simply build a mech or an infantry and interrupt that as well, or hell, even an artillery or a rocket. But very dedicated, strong, and weak side. HQs are somewhat vulnerable-ish, but the main gimmick, of course, is this black boat. Once you break open this seam over here, a lot of possibilities open up. And the core feature of this video is going to be, is it worth it to break the pipe seam early in this game, or even break it at all? And we're going to address that as the game goes on, because my opponent, spoiler alert, chose to break the pipe seam early. I did not choose to break the pipe seam early. So how will each way fare is a core concept that we're going to explore in this game. And as usual, when I look at my own games, I typically go more technical in my analysis. Less jokes, more analysis. My nerdy guys are probably going to geek out on these sort of videos, so buckle up. I'm going to go into detail what my thought process was, my opponent's thought process probably was. So prepare for some more in-depth analysis for this sort of video. But all things considered, strong side, weak side, 22k per side, a little bit on the medium-high level. You think, so this was a tier 1 matchup. Let's be honest here, Javier is not viable really at all. You have a comm tower over here, but I mean, artillery are pretty good on this map, because you're going to have one for the pipe seam if you choose to break it. So artillery are pretty decent. However, I just don't like the early battles with Von Bolt or Sasha. You're probably going to lose those contested properties before you even get your comm tower, because the first 5, 6, 7 days are crucial on this map. It is a very flowy map. You want to do your damage early, because later on things can lock up, and then you kind of miss your window of opportunity. So if you can do damage early, it's really good, which is why Von Bolt excels on this map, which is why he was the most often picked CO here. Now, I think Sasha has viability because she can get into first battle copter, she can get the first tank, and as the strong side, you want to have your vehicles come out first. So my main goal of this map was to put as many vehicles over here and push S green, push black back, get the contested properties, and try to not build a vehicle over here as long as possible. I wanted to force all my vehicles out on my strong side, building from these two bases. Where over here, I'll focus on mechs, copters that it can front shift as well. I don't want to dedicate that many units over here. I want to make him focus on defending, and me not doing much over here. I want to be on offense, basically. I want to set the tone of the battle. I want to decide where his tanks are built. If I build the first tank, I want him to have to build a tank over here. I don't want him going on offense against me. I want him playing defense. That was my whole game plan. Vehicles from this side, infantry and copters from this side. Pretty straightforward goal. Now, let's talk about contested properties real quick. This property is contested, like I mentioned. This is probably the most contested property. I would say typically this will start off in black's control, but eventually flip over to green. I've seen games where it's been held, but it's pretty difficult to hold on in a late game. This stays black. Pipe seams. So at first, this is black's property pretty easily. However, if you break the pipe seam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this potentially come under green's control, and the HQ is actually a bit more vulnerable. So breaking the pipe seam actually creates a lot more contested properties. Like, if you don't break this pipe seam, this property here can be contested early as green and black. Black can fight back against this property. Now, it should be under green's control, but black can fight back pretty effectively, particularly if black is playing as Sasha, maybe, and you're playing as green as Von Bolt, then you can actually win those one-on-one infantry wars. So it really opens possibilities when you break on the pipe seam. And we'll go into more detail about the pipe seam stuff. I don't want to go too crazy in the intro and make you guys wait 7 minutes for the game to start. But let's talk about the COs real quick. Hawk doesn't have much viability here. It's either basically going to be Von Bolt or Sasha, and I think Von Bolt hands down. I think like 70% of players picked Von Bolt here. Like I said, early impressions matter. The more damage and stuff you can do early, the better you're off positioned in the long term in this game. So Von Bolt really makes sense here. It's not that much of a stally map either because it's a weak side versus a strong side. When it's more clear, strong side versus weak side, usually Von Bolt, Kindle, the day-to-day COs really excel. Whereas it's more 3 bases in the middle versus 3 bases in the middle, stallier COs can tend to win out like Hawk. Now, let's talk about my opponent. My opponent here is a really strong player. I will say this is probably the most challenging game I have had in standard play in years. He's a strong guy. I think I was actually maybe the underdog in this game. So let me just talk about this guy right here. He was in my bracket, and he won his first game with ease. Next game, he played Tordred. You guys know Tordred, pretty good player, right? Well, he beat Tordred in 10 days. It was a massacre. And no shame to Tordred. This guy is strong. In round 3, he struggled a little bit earlier, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not so strong. Then he just turned on the jets and destroyed his opponent after that. I did my research on him. He seems to play similar to me. He's kind of a mix between me and Plague. He's similar to me because he kind of plays early a little loosely and sloppily, but as the game goes on, he just locks down. He's like me. I play bad early, and then I can have like revenge arc, and then I can win from coming from behind. Like that's kind of my specialty. I get a little lackadaisical at first, and I'm like, all right, I need to win this, and then just like turn a gear. This guy is very similar. Plague, I say, because this guy loves mechs. And I saw him use some pretty not well positioned mechs in the other round, so I was like, okay, I will use that to my advantage. But unfortunately, mechs are good on this map, especially over here. So I was like, damn, now he's going to build mechs, but they're actually going to be good. So I was a little concerned about that, but I was like, okay, game plan. I need to do as much damage early because this guy turns on after a certain time period. He turns into a machine. So my game plan was to beat him early and hopefully just bash him in, and we'll see how it goes. But he's a strong player. He's undefeated in Global League. He's kind of like Toulouse, where he's played a certain amount of games, kind of stopped. I think he's like 31-0 or something. Anyway, what I'm saying is he's a strong player, and maybe a lot of people consider me the underdog, and I don't blame him. I didn't consider myself the underdog as a higher seed, but I knew he was going to be tough. So, and he was. Anyway, without further ado, let us finally begin the game. So I am Greenies. He is Black Hole. We hope you all are ready. So, first things first is the decision here. If you're not Von Bolt, you got to go for this property, basically. If you're Sasha, you got to go for this property. It's a nice chain. If you're Von Bolt, you can go for this property. Now, why would it matter if you're in Von Bolt or not? Because we'll see in a second. Going over here, if he wasn't Von Bolt, I would attack here. And I would move this right here. And I would just keep attacking. And Von Bolt will beat Sasha down. Von Bolt will beat Javier down. And Black will never get this property. However, since we're both Von Bolt, I will knock him only down to 7, and he will knock me down to 7. And the next turn, I will only knock him down to 3, and he will still capture the property. If you're placing Von Bolt without any comm towers yourself or him, actually even with comm towers, is ill-advised to try to interrupt a cap like this. Good luck. So, because of that, Von Bolt is one of the more picked COs. You want to go for this property early. If you're Sasha, you go for this property because this is better economically, because you go here, what do you do with the infantry afterward? If you move off, he's going to capture it. So you're kind of just stuck there. But in the long term, if you're Sasha and you don't get this early, you're never getting it in the game. So that's kind of why Sasha, Javier, Hawk fall off. because Von Bolt will bully you here and you'll just never get this contested property, ever. So, that's what goes on. I don't interrupt him there. Go for the crop over here. He's not going to interrupt me because that's not going to work out well for him. And actually go back over here. A lot of people might go for the city. Actually, I'm not sure. Over here, you go on the river, you have flexibility. I can go down here to cap, up here on the silo where I can threaten this or this. So this river spot is actually much more better than going down here or on this road or God knows where. So this river spot looks like, oh, you only move one space, but flexibility, flexibility. Hell, I could even go like here. That's stupid, but silo or this spot basically is where I'm angling towards. So far, pretty standard stuff. I'm feeling pretty decent about my opening. No real complaints. Go down here, get the airport. Like I said, copters are great on this map until the pipe seam is broken. Before the pipe seam is broken, copters can attack over here. Copters can attack up here. So from my perspective over here, a copter comes over here and I don't have the pipe seam broken. Do I send my anti-air over here or do I send it over here? Because if the copter goes here and I send my anti-air over here, it's going to attack me over here. It could even attack me from the river over here if I don't have an anti-air in position. He could attack me from the river on this side over here. He could attack me from the mountain over here, depending. Copters are really strong until the pipe seam's broken, and then they get really weak. So there's kind of this nice moment in the game where you can actually pounce on that sort of stuff. There's a small window. There's a lot of windows when it comes to this game. You have a window of attack to get a nice tactical advantage, like i.e. interrupting this cap over here if they're Javier, a Sasha, or a Hawk. That's a small window. If you don't interrupt them, they're going to have that just like any other COS, so you have to take advantage of it. If I played anyone that wasn't vulnerable there, I would 100% attack there. Let that be known. You have to strike in the window. But anyway, copters are good until the type seam is broken, so that'll be a thing. So over here, like I said earlier, what do I do now? I can't just go on the mountain, then he caps here. I can't go over here. He will cap me no matter what. So what do you even do with this infantry? It basically has to stand still. So like I said, in the long term it's better. Early term, this would have been better for the economic boom. You can get more income, but it's not a big deal. And then he moves over here, which I thought was a little bit curious. I thought he might move over here, so threatening this, and then maybe move this infantry in the forest. What I would have done here, as him, this infantry goes in the forest. This infantry goes here, so you can either cap that, or like this one gets that, and this one gets that, and this one gets that. So I think that's a pretty good setup, but he didn't do that. And even if he did go for this property, ooh, it looks safe, DG. Well, my next move was one infantry on this city right here, and one on the silo, as you'll soon see. And he builds biggest decision of the map so far. Builds an artillery. Prioritizes breaking the pipe seam over tank. Because player one should have the first tank. Could have bought a tank. Mind you, could have bought a tank. Chooses not to. Goes for the artillery. I am in the mindset that this is a mistake. I think tank would have been the better move here. He would have had the momentum over here. He would have pushed my infantry away. Probably captured this property pretty early. I would never get that back. Put pressure over here. I would be on the defensive. Like I said, my game plan. I want to be on the offensive the entirety of the game. I do not want my opponent to dictate my moves for me. However, he kind of did a bad move there. So if you guys were saying, oh, you can get this property easily. So I capture this. This was my plan. If you capture this property, one attacks from the forest first, one attacks from the plains, and you're not capping that. So it was a little bit of a trap. This looks like, oh, a little worth this infantry. This one's just going to capture over here. No, if he was going to capture that, I was going to double attack him. Now, I see this artillery, and I'm like, all right, cool. Nice, cool story. And look, this guy literally just chills. And another thing, build your vehicles from this base. If you build a tank here, it will reach the same spot over here. But the infantry are so much closer. And infantry built over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 turns to get over there. That's crazy. When you go 1, 2, and then you're already over in the same area. So save your infantry some time. Tank recons even. Any vehicle should be built back there. Until you have this pipe seam broken, vehicles should be built back there because it takes forever for the infantry to move upward where they go the same spot. However, if you're fighting in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a tank can go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it can only go here. So there's a matter of 3 spaces if you're fighting in the middle. But if you're fighting on the side over here, always build your vehicles from the back base. Makes sense. Suez already comes in, gets ready to start blasting. And he does another strange move here that was actually ill-conceived. He makes a mistake here, he attacks into this. Like I said earlier, without a comp tower, it's going to be a 7-7. Like, I think 99% of the time. I might be exaggerating, but that's what he does. Now, unfortunately, I did not punish him to the fullest extent. I did my normal greed move, which is capping, because if I cap here and he interrupts me, he will not lock me lower than 3, which is what I need in order to cap. So I was like, I'm just going to ignore him. And then when he flees, I'm going to kill him. That was my plan, and I did, as you'll soon see, but there was actually a better plan right here. And I built a tank from here. But Deej, you just said you were going to build from this base over here. And I should have. This was another mistake I made. Why did I build from this base? Because I intend to go to the middle. I didn't want him to capture this property. But this is a very myopic, short-sighted idea of me, because long-term, that is 100% his. Once he breaks this pipe seam, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 base turn and tanks away from the base. So there is no way in hell I'm going to be able to hold that property or prevent him from long-term, especially if he breaks open that pipe seam. So ill-conceived turn by me. This is probably one of my worst turns of the match. Now, why? I could have attacked this, and I could have weakened it, and then I could have captured this property next turn. I'm probably showing you in the move planner what I mean, but I could have gotten greedy and captured this property. I would have to interrupt this cap, put an infantry there, have move this infantry here to block, and move this infantry over here to attack, and then I would have actually been able to capture this property. No interrupts possible on day 8. That would have been huge. However, I chose the greed move, and well, I don't get punished, but I could have punished him more. I should put it that way. So he blasted my black boat. Another thing why I don't like the black boat early breaking. Earlier CO powers for the opponent, because when you kill it, you're giving your opponent more charge than you, because you get 50% charge for units you kill, 100% charge for units that die. So he'll get 3750 in terms of charge for himself, and I'll get 7,500. So I'm doing quite a bit better in the charge department. So as Von Bolt, I would expect to have the Von Bolt superpower first, which is crucial in these sort of matches. Mirror matches, typically it pays off to get the first superpower. If you're playing as Drake Mirror, Olaf Mirror, etc., hell, even Kindle and stuff, you typically want to have the first CO or super CO power, because it usually dictates how the rest of the match goes. Whoever gets the CO power first typically gets the second one, the second one first as well, because whoever gets it first usually continues a cycle. Anyway, he retreats over here, and my plan, and it's not terrible. Instead of capturing this property, I was like, I'm going to just kill off that infantry. So he basically didn't do anything, and I knocked that down to 1. And actually, I fight over here. This is not even a bad move. It's not even a good move. It's kind of net whatever. Basically, just knock each other down. Maybe I shouldn't in retrospect. I don't know. Unfortunately, I do not kill it here. I think it wasn't a roll anyway, because I do not have my comm tower yet. If I did have my comm tower, I'm pretty sure it would die, but not a big deal here. And move my tank over here. Another big move. That mistake by me. This tank should not be over here. This tank should be right here, and I should be jamming units down this guy's throat. Next turn, this tank should be right here, attacking that infantry, the other infantry, this one capping. I could have captured this property, I could have captured this property with more tank pressure, but instead I was like, me no want him get this property, because he has no tank to defend, so if he tries to cap here, I will interrupt my tank. That was my thought process. I was very short-sighted on this turn. I should have 100% built from this tank base and shifted it over here, and I could really punish him hard right here, because he's already building a mech. But at least I'm holding up to my goal. Don't build vehicles over there. Only build infantry and copters as long as possible. It's day 10 or day 7. I still haven't done it, and I'm still cranking out tanks over here, so we're looking pretty good. Breaks my backboat, but now it's still going to take another 2 days in order for him to break through. Tank gets feisty over here and attacks my infantry from the mountain over there. Another mistake by him, but he has the mech to back it up. So if I attack right here, the mech will smack me. And he's getting feisty over here, so things are starting to get a little hairy. He even attacks me over here, because he doesn't want me to capture this property. If I attack here and I capture the property, bad news bears. And he builds a copter, and since I do not have the pipe seam broken, copters are really good. It's going to take 2 turns for this copter to go over here and attack me. It's going to take 3 turns for my anti-air to get in this general vicinity. 2 days if it goes over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, yeah, 2 days each. Unless I fight in further, then it's going to be 3 days. But for the most part, 2 days each. So I need to build an anti-air. It's forced, and he still hasn't got this middle property, but with a mech, 1, 2 turns, he's going to capture that. In fact, mech attacks here. It can actually attack 1 turn and then capture the next turn. And there's a lot of work for 1 unit. So he brings his units a little close to me over here, so I'm like, I'm going to fight him. Bagangus. And he has no vehicles to reinforce, so I'm like, and this infantry doesn't reinforce over here. This one can attack me from a mountain, but I'm not really that scared of that. Here's another mistake. I should have attacked the tank over there. But Deej, what about the mech? Yeah, but my mech, I would have attacked this tank, the mech wouldn't even kill my tank, and then I would be killing off this guy, and I'd be threatening this property right here. I'd be threatening this property right here. Maybe even this property right there. I need to keep the pressure on. And look, I have a tank chain. So even if the mech attacks me, this tank will follow up over here. And since he doesn't have a tank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he would have no chain. His chain ends after the mech. It's not like he has an infinite chain. He has a copter, but I'm building an anti-air. I should have attacked into there. I think it was because I thought he was getting in the comm tower first and I don't have it yet, but I should have attacked him right there. But instead, I played the little wimpy move and I kill off his infantry. And I just retreat my units basically. I'm playing pretty wimpily and I should not be playing wimpily, but luckily, at least I see the light over here. I'm like, and another thing, I could have attacked into him here and then I would have 2 tanks to kill off the mech and other infantry. So it's like, I should have definitely attacked into him right there. Don't know why I didn't do that. Just hastily playing. I didn't move planner until like day 11 or 12, I think. Like I said, I play lackadaisically at the beginning, and then you kind of have to turn on the jets later. But, you know, ABC's not playing. He had a kind of a slop start, not gonna lie. Had some definitely punishable moments, but he didn't really take it to the best of his advantage. I also didn't really like this attack here. He could have attacked into the mountain. That was probably a better move, but it's okay, I guess. He really wanted to finish off that infantry. But now I can start beating off his infantry. But now, because I did not have that window of opportunity, he is hunkered down. And now how do I break through this? I can't really. He's got a copter there. He's got a tank there, guarded by a mech. He's got another tank chain. My window of opportunity has closed. How am I going to get in there? My tanks don't two-shot this tank, so now I have to attack tank, the tank, and then infantry has to follow up there. So it's like, oh, why didn't I attack earlier? Now it's so much harder. It's all about windows of opportunity in this game. Get my comm tower, though. And since he's going to break open this pipe seam, I'm never capturing this property, basically. It's 1 turn. Meanwhile, he can capture this property because I do not have mine. However, I could have punished him so much. I could have gotten these 2, maybe even 3 properties so far as punishment for building this artillery. But I didn't. That's why I think breaking the pipe seam this early is a mistake. I just didn't capitalize on it, so I was kind of kicking myself. But whatever, I think he's making some weird moves over here, so I'm not complaining too much. And I go for the cap over here. I'm like, attack! Here's where I make my last big mistake. Not my last, but my latest big mistake. I have enough for a tank beer here. But I want an artillery so bad. Now, why is this not a good move? Because I leave this open for attack. This anti-air is going to be attacked, and I can't really punish it that well. He's going to attack this tank to my anti-air over here, and I have these other tanks to attack, but this copter as well, like, I should have guarded this anti-air better. But why did I move it here? Because look, it covers this tank. It doesn't look like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. DJ hits on the city, and your anti-air can't go on the forest. Yes, but look, I can move on this bridge. So, it doesn't look like I'm covering that tank, but that tank is covered 100%. That's why I didn't move it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I moved it there, you get a free shot off on the city right there. So that's why I had to move my anti-air here. Should have done a better job blocking this tank from attacking. I guess I would have had to like move my infantry though. Like this infantry would have to go in like there and stuff, but I really wanted this property. Anyway, what I could have done is instead I could still leave it open for an attack, but I have a tank here to punish him, to attack right off the base. But instead he sniffs that out and just immediately goes in. Boom. And nice little sack here. Comes in handy. Guarantees a 2-hit KO now. Boom. Bang. Kills off my infantry there. Things are starting to look a little hairy over here. Look, still no vehicles. Holding up. No vehicles. But now he's going to have a tank reinforced in like 1 day over here. Things are looking bad now. He attacks with a tank. And because of that, attacks with the copter. And I'll only knock it down to probably like 5 or 4 or something. And he's just going in. He's just going in. He's got a tank chain. He's got 3 tanks over here, a copter and a mech. I am outnumbered on my strong side. That's how dire things are. And I have no vehicles over here, and he has 2. I have 1 copter, but he's got an anti-air. Things are looking really bad. Really, really bad. If I'm not careful, I'm going to lose this property, and I'm going to lose this property soon. Most likely this property. He's going to go, like, attack 1 here, attack 1 from down here, capture, and then, like, if need be, I interrupt. He combines next turn and guarantees that capture. So I'm like, things are looking bad. Even this infantry over here is not going to capture that property super easy. So what can you do here? If you had this few units over here against multiple, and there's an artillery, so that's coming, and that might even be a base lock. You put it on the city over here, base lock. You put it on the shoal over here, base lock. Things are looking really bad for me. I would say I'm losing at this point. I just am not playing well. So I have to find some sort of wins. So how am I going to do that? Mech comes in. Okay. But how am I going to protect this property? I'm actually attacking in. What? Dude, what? Why are you attacking? I'm just like, I am desperate. I cannot allow this property. Copter comes in because I'm like, I need to like defend against this tank. I could have put it over here, but then the anti-air goes, like I said, when you have this pipe seam open, these copters are a lot worse because the anti-air can just follow you around. They don't have to play games. Oh, is he going to go over here? Oh, is he going to go over here? You just go down the middle. And that copter is basically a schlopter. So I'm like, okay, still no vehicles though. I'm fighting on though. Boonga, Bangus, knock it down to a 5, down to a 3. It's whatever. That's a pretty great trade, not gonna lie. But I am within base range. I'm just throwing units at this point. Die. Kill off that unit. They're going over here. This doesn't reinforce. It covers this road over here. So if he does attack into me right there, I will be able to get a first strike from a 9, which isn't terrible. Build another tank. Build an anti-air because this one's already dying. Things are still not looking great, but hey, I have an income advantage so far, and yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stop this property. Honestly, this infantry probably could have just hung back over here because if this is not broken, there's look at all these other units. No chance in hell. Copter comes in. Now that's gonna die, or close to it. Mech even sacks itself into the anti-air. That's why I built this other one over here, because I was like, this is not gonna be nearly enough. Kills off my infantry over here. Kills another infantry. Builds a tank. Probably gonna build a copter too. Oh no, he can't afford a copter yet. Anti-air just covers everything. So I'm not capturing that. Even this is scary. Yeah. So let's look at our stats. I have 8 deaths, 5 kills. Keep in mind, this is at 1 HP. This is at 1 HP, so it's actually a lot worse. Let's pretend it's actually 8 or 10 to 5. Because that is dead, that is dead. Things are looking really bad for me. What do I have going for me? I have more time than him. And I have no vehicles over here. So I have forcing the fight over here. Okay, those are the only 2 things going for me. I'm forcing the fight on his weak side, and I have more time. My opponent has better income than me, has more unit value than me, has more units than me. That's 3 strikes and you're out kind of model. So I'm just hoping that the other stuff will help out here. But what do I do here? I got 19k. Another copter? I don't know if that's going to be enough, man. He is going to get this property next turn. What am I going to do? Sack this and try to delay? What would you do here? So I have 1, 2, 3 tanks, basically, but one's at 5 HP against 3 tanks. So we have equal tank parity. He has a copter, but I have an anti-air. It's pretty dead even. So I'm not losing on the strong side, although this is front shifting over. Let's not forget that. This is front shifting. But we're tied. And you don't want to be tied on your strong side when you're losing your weak side, because he's got infantry count over here. He's got vehicle count over here. How am I going to stop? There's an artillery now. There's a tank that will hit me if I'm on the shoal or the city now. From the base. Things are looking really bad. But I fight on. As you should. Managed to kill him. Don't quite kill. Unfortunately, I didn't want that roll. I wanted to be at 10 so I could capture this next turn. Oh, so close. Put my tank over here because, look, things are so dire that I'm worried about this tank hitting me there. I need a tank to block. So things were looking pretty shitty. And what do I do with this copter even? Like, this covers basically everywhere. So I'm like, okay. Anti over there. Heal up this one. Guard this tank at least. And at least this one tank, HP tank is there. Build a tank over there. And I'm betting I either build a copter and an infantry probably. Copter comes back, like, look how useless it is with this pipe steam broken. It is pathetic, to be perfectly honest. I was kind of baiting him to attack my infantry here. I'm like, hey, if he does, like, I'm going to get this anyway, but if he wants to, he could attack this infantry over here, but then I get a free hit, so I'm just hoping he attacks a random infantry with that, but most likely not. At least I get control of the mountain, which is pretty crucial. He who controls this mountain controls this property, a wise man once said. But I'm not controlling that for long, so I'm enjoying it while it lasts. This infantry's going to die. I have another mech. Mechs are good on this weak side over here. And I got a lot of money. A lot of money. What would Deej buy with that money? Who knows? Might surprise you. Might surprise you. Comes in. Infantry's dead. Mech is now threatening my property. Infantry's are all dying. This this artillery is going to move closer, no doubt. Tank comes and gets a hit. Daring me to attack an artillery. Honestly, knocking that down to 9 or 8 is not worth an infantry, especially on my weak side. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units over here. 6, 7 if you include that. 5 versus 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, good luck. He's feeling bold over here, though. Copter front shifts. Infantry hits it right here just so he doesn't interrupt there, but I'm not going to be able to interrupt that anyway, and he can stop me from this mountain range as well. But he's got 3 tanks right here. Feels a little cocky right here. I think he got a little too cocky on this turn on his weak side, because I'm able to get a bunch of first strikes and capture this property. That's a good trade for me. Knock him down 4. I take 1. Good trade. Block over here. This 1 HP thing is pulling its weight because look, he has to attack to break through, and he doesn't want to waste a full HP tank to attack, and he can't just move in the 2 HP. The 2 HP can't attack that without him moving the full HP one. So it's kind of a conundrum. It's like, I want to attack the 6 or the 8 or something, or even this, but it's in the way. This pesky 1 HP tank. That's a Best Buy gift card recipient tank, by the way. Block for the artillery earlier, preventing a break and attacking my artillery. Last turn. Look right here. He could have broken through this using a combination to hit my artillery. And now, this beautiful Best Buy, $50 Best Buy gift card award recipient. As soon as he dies and this family ships back his coffin to the States, there's going to be a Best Buy gift card on top of the coffin. His family will rejoice. And here's another great trade. Knock him down 5, knock me down 3, and I cap. And look at this coverage. I don't care about this, but look at this. Covers this tank, covers this tank, covers this infantry. And I bring in an extra tanky. My artillery comes in, my anti-air comes in. I can even move my own anti-air over there, or artillery down there. Actually, I've shifted over here because I'm worried about the 4 HP doing some shenanigans on this river. I was worried it's going to like attack me from there or from there. And then, well, if it attacks me from there, then I have no real recourse. So he might just do that. But here, I make the first unconventional move of the match. Well, not that. That's also weird. Copter hides over here. Rocket. Deej, why are you building rocket? Because this is falling if I don't build a rocket. Let's be honest here. There is no way in hell I can hold that property without a rocket. Now, I have not seen rockets built on this map very often until this game. And I think people watching this game started building their own rockets once they saw me do it, because they're like, oh, Deej did it. It's actually okay. It's not a bad move. This is one of the few maps where rockets are pretty good on the defensive. You can lock down your weak side over here, and you don't have to worry about a base rush, putting an artillery here or here. The artillery is not going to brace lock me anymore, basically, with this rocket. The thing you have to worry about, superpower. If this gets hit by a Von Bolt superpower, he is going to go all in and just kill everything. So I have to be careful the missile does not hit me there. And look, another thing. Thinking ahead. I have a lot of money saved over. Why didn't I build an artillery here? Why didn't I build a tank and an infantry? Why does Deej have all this extra money? We'll get back to that. But he's still clobbering me. This is low. I end the turn barely ahead in income, but one thing to note. He has a full 7,500 in unit value here. So every time you look at his unit value, keep in mind that he's actually 7,500 behind me, or 7,500 behind that. So subtract from there. So it looks like I'm just lost, but it's actually I'm like 72,000 to 82,000. So we're still pretty even, but he has the PIPESEAM broken and I do not. So he attacks in here, kills my unit, goes for the cap regardless. He doesn't even care about this rocket. I'm like, all right, man. Attacks my anti here, which is a little questionable. Copter comes in. All right. Copter comes in, kills this, but looks like looking pretty good with the property over here. However, 1 tank, 2 tank, 3 tank, copter, and 4 tank, 2 copter. I am grossly outnumbered here. 1 tank all the way over here, 2. I'm not even going to count that. I have 2 tanks versus 4 tanks and 2 copters, and I have an artillery and an anti-air. However, he made a big mistake here. Well, one thing I did not like about his move. Why did he use a full HP copter to kill a 1 HP unit when I have an anti right there? I thought that was very curious. I get where he's coming from. He wants me to attack and kill, and then he's just going to build another one, and then I'll have nothing. I get it, but still not a great trade. Now, look at this map state. Pause for a bit, if you will. What would you do here? What would you do here? He has more tanks than me. He has more copters than me. Anything come to mind? He's going to stop this property. If I attack, kill the copter. This hits that tank. This 3 HP plus infantry can probably kill that tank, and then I hit this forest tank, but then that hits me. This other copter hits me. This tank hits me. There's a big counterattack. And then he's probably going to get the first superpower too. So it's looking pretty hairy. However, there is one hope. First things first, kill that. Knock down to 5. Now, this is actually notable. Deej, who gives a shit? If he's down to 5 or 4, man, like, who cares, dude? You'll see soon. Tank comes in, attack. Okay, I mean, okay, DG. Go for the caps, huh? Sack this in there. Why didn't you, huh? Infantry comes in, okay. What? Deej, what are you doing? Why don't you just use that attack from the mountain, right? What are you doing, dude? Deej, have you lost your mind? Yeah. Look how much I need. I need 650. I need 150. That was literally like my last move to get. I could not have gotten it if not for that. I barely got my superpower. I mean, if needed, this mech could have attacked and I got more charge in one, but I wanted to preserve my mech. So it was incredibly close. A few rolls mattered. If I knocked this down to 8 and I died in one shot, that's actually better for me. So counterintuitively, it's better if my copter just dies there and it goes to an 8. It's a roll between 8 and 7, but whatever. Ex Machina! And boom. And just like that, he has no counterattack. This anti-air will live. My artillery will live. And I'm going to capture both of these properties. Just like that. Sure, I had to sack a copter for it. But now, I'm going to get both these properties. And look at this. Oh, the Von Bolt's going to hit you there. Why did you save up money last term, huh? You have the 5,000 hit? Neotank. So when he uses his superpower... See, I don't know why he did that. That was weird. Attacks me there, attacks me there. Tank kills me there, even though there's a mech here. That was a little dubious. He uses an Ex Machina. Where is it going to land? Where I spent my money. 2 units. Not even on the front line. These are all going to die. And I get 2 properties. This? Okay, I don't care. That's fine. I don't mind the Ex Machina striking me there. However, it's getting a little scary over here. Let's not lie. And he's probably going to combine to get this property. He is. He really wants this property. Builds another artillery, which is scary. But look at that. Just like that. DG has the income advantage. Now, I am scared of him capturing this property here. I'm scared of him capturing this property, and he's definitely going to capture this property in the long term. So what I need to do is hold down the fort over here and make sure he does not capture both of these so I can have an income advantage. See, this is another thing. I don't know why his full HP copter attacked in my set. That was another head scratch by cheese. That was really weird. But anyway, I'm going to knock it down to 1. Rocket attacks over here to make sure he doesn't get it. Kill the copter, kill the tank, kill the copter, kill the tank. Look at that. I just murdered him over here. Just like that one super. I had to sack a copter for it. I went from tied at best over here. Like, look, this is dubious. Tied at best. Look at all these tanks. Look at these copters. Tied at best. To a massacre. Another thing, he couldn't build from this base. He was base locked. So he couldn't even build an infantry. Now look at this side. Who do you think's winning over here now? It's pretty obvious. Pretty damn obvious. And all I have to do now, I give him up this property. There's no way I can hold that. He combined, and he's going to keep combining and stuff, but I got to hold on to this property. Hold on to that property, and I'll be ahead, what, 1K? We're looking pretty good. Yeah, we're ahead 1K. Copter even comes in. All right, that's a little weird, but actually it's not a bad move. But now we're starting to shift to the middle. He's like, okay, I see. The rocket. A lot of people might baboon to this, try like, oh, he has it, I need it too, I need it, and just put it all in. ABC Cheese, he's a smart man. Knows when there's a rocket locket in my pocket, he needs to back up. He needs to back up, and he does. Smart move by him, heads up play. He's front shifting everything to the middle. His eyes are on that, his eyes are on this. As they should be. So, similarly, I'm like, okay, I cannot push in further here. This is within base range, this is within airport range. I got what I needed, I got the 2 contested properties, I need to back up. A lot of people might be like, oh, artillery go here, then you attack here, you get the base lock. That's not happening. You need to be honest with yourself. That's not happening. There's no base lock going on here. He's got an airport here. Hell, he could build a bomber if I put like an artillery here. Like, it's not happening. This is not nutty lower level series. We're not getting a base lock versus a competent player here. We got what we wanted. Now we need to shift center and make sure he doesn't take us over here. That's what I do. Attack the tanky. Get a nice little potch off on their artillery or rocket or whatever the hell you want to call it. Copter with my artillery. Anti-air. Gets another smacky with my mech. And now I'm starting to proliferate artillery because now I'm like, okay, I can't allow him to get this property. I mean, he's not now, but that's a threat. That's a threat. Now is the time to break open that black boat. Now is the time to break the black boat. And I forgot to mention I got a Freaky Riki. Why did I build a Freaky Riki? Because if he stays here, I can kill off this infantry, and this recon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will actually hit that artillery. But he pulled away anyway because he's smart. So, but my Freaky Reekster, you know, he has a role to play. And I'm like, attack an infantry there because I have a rocket complete. Whatever attacks me here is going to get hit. And if he attacks with the artillery, then I'm just going to hit him with my Riki, so he can't really afford to stay there. So this is going to stay mine. And this looks like it's going to stay mine too, so looking pretty good. Feeling pretty good so far now. But he does attack into me over here, which is, okay, a little scary. He attacks with his artillery, which is a little bit of a head scratcher. Am I going, okay. Captures his property. I cannot realistically stop that. This artillery, this anti-air, like, my copter is so bad. Has this copter done anything? Or where would my other one go? I don't even remember where it went. Oh yeah, it killed itself. That's where it went. My copter so far has only been sacking into itself for charge. That's all it's basically done. Anyway, so he does all these attacks, captures the property. This is pretty scary though, not gonna lie. Hard to interrupt this, and unfortunately this is a river, so I can't just move it over one and stop him from capping. This artillery has to go all the way down here, and it's gonna be difficult killing off this unit. In fact, I don't have a tank, so unfortunately I can't just kill this 9 and then attack with a tank into that artillery. It looks pretty dicey, and I was actually strongly considering somehow chipping this 2 HP tank and then this attacking the 9 HP, and then the artillery knocks my Neo tank down to like 7 probably, maybe even 6, but I think for the net of killing this tank it might be worth it. But I don't. Plot twist. Because he builds his own golf ball here. And my unit count is looking like shit, man. 19 units to 30. 29, technically, because this black boat doesn't count. Not looking great. However, he was a little too feisty with that little unit over there. And actually base lock myself to kill off the tank. Attack the other tank. Meki comes in. Riki comes in. Beep, beep. Knocks it down to 6. And my rocket's being aggressive now. He's like, yeah, I'm going to base lock you, boy. I'm going to go on this road and bait. No. There's no way in hell your rocket should be that active. Fighting a strong 2-base side. Going on a road over here? No, you'd have to lose your mind to do something like that. So, I actually decided to front shift my tank over here because I'm really worried about an HQ threat at this point. Move the infantry there. I need to have something on the HQ. It's a real threat. These properties are really being threatened right now. Neo tank goes for the safe play instead. I don't know how I'm going to stop this cap though without sacking a unit, so a little dubious. Tank comes in. Actually, this tank sacrifices its life in order to get this property. Copter comes in, gets a hit, but I have an anti-air here. Why did you do that? He's doing the same thing he did with the tank earlier. Mech, tick. Yeah, okay, interesting. So he's going to get this property guaranteed, basically. Kills off my infantry there. He's got so many more units than me. 27 to 18. It's going to get higher, trust me. 30 to 18. Let's look at the stats. 29 deaths to 20 kills. But if you look at the value, though, I have killed more units of value. So that thing I have going for me. He has to sack units in order to get this cap, and he's going to have another tank die right now. Bangus. So, despite having only 18, my units are stronger. And don't forget, this Blackwood is also cheating. It's 7,500. So I'm ahead on unit value by the end of his turn. At the end of his turn, I have more unit value than him. So I'm crushing him on unit value. It's the count that I'm behind on, and soon to be income. Mech comes in, kill off that. And then I just get a free kill here because the tank isn't covering that. That tank's not going to do that much damage to me right there. Especially if I bonk him right there. So, that's fine by me. Build another golf ball over here because I need to cover this golf ball. He could attack into me. I calculated it. He will not actually get the superpower here. He can do a whole bunch of wonky shit. Sack the copter. Golf balls attack. Sack this. He still will not have enough for a superpower. So, I kept that in mind. And I'm actually going aggressive. Like, maybe I can... I mean, he's going to have to interrupt. I'm hoping to, like, kill 2 infantry for the price of 1, basically. My rocket is super aggressive. This is the most aggressive rocket I've ever seen. Captures the property. Kills. Does a little boosty. So I thought this might have been a BM. He's like, oh, I beat Tejas. I win. What is he gonna, like, why did he build a T-copter on his weak side? I was confused, but I guess it's for boosts in order to get this property. But I'm like, I'm not gonna allow that property. Tank sacrifices itself into me right there. Attacks my mech. I'm like, alright. I didn't get this move, so this part kind of confused me. Well, this part makes sense, but... On the weak side over here, I can just kill this copter for free. Like... And then I just put a tank, like, here. Or, sorry, not a tank. Actually, well, never mind, it's not free. He can't hit me. But I can stop this cap, and I get a copter kill. And this artillery can smack that if I so choose. Although, actually, okay, so here's the thing. I debated about this move for quite a bit. Intuitively, my first inclination is move this mech to this mountain or to this river. Copter and artillery kill this. So then when the anti-air kills my copter, at least my artillery will smack that anti-air. So net positive, I kill a tank, and I kill an anti-air, and he kills a copter, which is a net win for me. However, there's a better move right here, which is this tricky move right here. I kill the 4 HP tank, huh? And I move this over here, huh? Well, the idea is this tank cannot attack this mech. This tank can't do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it can go around, wrap around here. Then it gets blasted by an artillery. But, so it needs to move, basically. Same thing with the 1 HP tank over there. It was just a block. It was just annoying as hell. Same tactic here. The tank needs to move, or else this thing can't reach it, because it's blocked. And then, to set the trap even further, artillery. So whatever stops here and attacks the copter is not even getting chipped. It is dead. And if he doesn't, I kill the black boat. So it's a win-win. No matter what happens, I get some value out of it. I killed off a little tanky over here, and whatever attacks back over here is going to get absolutely shellacked. Also, if the mech attacks me right here, it gets shellacked. And there's a Neo tank over here. So if he wants to try to combine right here, capture and combine, my Neo tank will knock it down to like 3 or 2. So I'm starting to feel pretty good about that left side over here. But we're getting near the superpower where you need to be wary, so be a little careful over there. Still a little aggressive over here. Now I'm building vehicles over here. My only vehicles so far over there was a tank that I shifted over here, a recon, and a rocket. Now I'm starting to build tanks over there because it's day 18, for God's sake. So I've done a pretty damn good job in terms of building only vehicles so far. He does the combine over here, but then ABC Cheese does something a little cheesy. I mean, you have to sacrifice a few things, but look. Interesting. Guaranteeing this cap. Now, how does that guarantee? Well, I can't kill all these units, especially after he kills my copter. And another cute thing, these black boats can actually like heal up and like make your units full. So if this was at, I don't know, 9 HP, you could top it off and go to full. So that's kind of a cute little thing. These black boats actually have some utility in that sense. And now the HQ threat is incoming. So I have a distraction over here, but that's where the Neo, that's where he's aiming for. I'm a little wary of that. Tank comes in, does that, kills off my copter. Do I have enough for a superpower, though? Do I have enough for a superpower? Boom. Bang. So I can't stop this guy. This is unstoppable. And he has a rocket over here, too. So this is actually a really good move for him, because now he can plop it over here and keep it just like I kept mine for the entirety of the game. And since he has this property here and this property here, he's going to be ahead big. He's going to be ahead 4K. He had to sacrifice a lot of units to do it, but He's ahead big income now. And I cannot allow the HQ cap. And I do not want to let him get the superpower first. So look, this Neo can actually not reach my Neo tank. I do not want to allow him to get the charge. The only way he can get the charge is if he sacks this copter right here. And I was like, okay, but where would it land? It would land on these 3 units. Rocket, copter, which is not terrible to be honest. And maybe recon too, I think is actually involved there. But hell, that's a lot better than these 2. I'd rather it hit here than here. Why? Because he has no, if he has an infantry right there, I'm not including the rocket in there. I'd move this recon here and I'd probably move this tank here. But since there is no threat currently, I don't mind my rocket being immobilized for a turn. Plus I got a Riki. So actually that would be caught up in this stuff too. But regardless, since there is nothing threatening, I'm fine with the rocket being hit first. But he'd have to sack a copter, and he's already sacked plenty of copters. And look at the unit value difference. Remember, it's worse than it even looks, because he has this, which is 7,500. So it's really, I'm ahead 40,000 in unit value. 40,000, that's 2 turns of income. So he's ahead on unit count, and he's ahead on unit, or on income. But I am dominating him when it comes to unit value. So I have a chance still. I got 2 Neo tanks. He has 1. And I just killed off a lot of his units in order to get that property, so it's not too bad. Rocket comes in, basically ensures that I can't attack this infantry. Heals up his anti-air. Heals it up. Now he's threatening over here, and I'm like, okay, this rocket cannot be part of the ball now. And here becomes the hardest part of the game. Why? He's down to like hours, by the way. You need to prevent your opponent from getting a superpower. You have to calculate what units can be attacked. If I attack this, is that enough for power? If I attack this, is that enough for power? Where will it land? Will he have enough to get the power? Position all units in order to get a power. If he does get a power, where will it land? You have to calculate this stuff constantly. Playing vulnerable mirrors is incredibly taxing, mentally, physically, metaphysically. It is really exhausting, and these were the suffering. This great suffering began now because both of us are playing, chicken. I want to get the power. He does not want either of us to get the power because he's ahead 4K. I am ahead 40,000 basically, or 30,000, because it's the middle of the turn. So he ends the turn, whatever. So we'll say I'm 30,000 ahead, and he has ahead 4,000 income. So he needs 7 turns to get 28,000. So basically, let's say 8 turns. If he holds for 8 turns, he's winning. If I can knock down some properties, then I'm winning. So that's where we're at. He has to be defensive. I have to be offensive. I have to make things happen. He has to keep things as status quo. Therefore, he wants to keep me on edge and make us both hold the power so we can build up his numbers and build up his army with his extra funds. Because he can make a Neo tank every single turn. I cannot. So I finally killed that sucker of a black boat. You can really see the income disparity, or the unit disparity now. In fact, I allow him to get the first superpower. I say, please, I don't care who gets it first. We need to use our superpowers, man, so I can just get on with life, because it takes so much planning. It would land right here with my recon too. These 5 units over here would land there. The rocket would be able to defend. My Neo tanks would be able to attack. I'm like pleading basically to him. Please. I know it's not great that you get the first superpower, but please, someone needs to get it. But ABC Cheese, he's a really smart player. He says, nah, I'm good. I'm winning on unit value, or income. Why would I force a attack? And look, if I get a vulnerable superpower here, Neo tank, anti-air, tank, infantry, anti-air. That's good game. If I get a superpower here. 100% good game, no read. The question is, do I have enough charge to do it? This anti-air can attack this tank. So what do I need? I think I needed around exactly 10,000. That's a nice round number, 10,000. Long, short story. tank attacks, or this attacks tank, Neo tank attacks tank, infantry attacks infantry, this one attacks the mech, this copter attacks the infantry, this infantry attacks that. That's all I can do. 7,800. 2,200 short. I calculated everything possible. It was impossible. He played this turn to perfection. Maintain status quo. No powers used. Continues his income advantage. Barely. And it would have been so good. Looked so hard. First I found 6,000 in damage. Then I tweaked it. I was like, okay, maybe I can attack not this tank over to the infantry, but also this 3 HP mech, and maybe this. I found as many combinations as possible. I was like, oh, this infantry over here too. Yeah, attack that. Not enough. I tried everything. This attacking the infantry, it didn't work. So we continue on the slog. And I tickle the PIPESEAM. I give it a good wiggle. Wiggle. Preparing to bust through. And the great ceasefire, if you want to call it, continues. And now I have this. Now it's going to strike here. Won't strike here. Won't strike my Neotank. See, my Neotank has to go rogue. If I stay here, it's going to strike me. My Neotank has to go rogue over here. My rocket over here has to go rogue over here. Because I also want to defend that, for one thing. That is incredibly scary. Recon over there in case he gets feisty. I'm ahead 30,000 at the end turn, pretty damn good. And here's where he resigns. Now, unexpected result. I did not expect him to resign here. I thought he was going to go for the power, knock these down, maybe try to sneak an anti-air to hit me from this over here, maybe HQ threat. Here's the deal. Experts may look at this map and have different opinions. Depends on what kind of player you are. I am sufficiently ahead. Now we're even on units. I'm ahead on unit value. He's ahead on income. If you're a defensive player, you want to be in his position. If you're an offensive player, you want to be in my position. I'm more of a defensive player, and I liked his position better than mine. It is pretty much dead equal, though. You talk to a certain person, they're going to say, I'm ahead. You talk to a certain person, they're going to say, ABC Cheese is ahead. Here's the deal. He's not going to be able to hold this property. I'm breaking through this. This is 100% mine. Hell, I can build a rocket. No question, this is going to be mine. This is not holdable long-term for him. The question remains, am I able to capture this property or this property? If I can do either or both of those, I win. The question is the timetable. I don't think I'll ever be able to capture that again because of the rocket. So it's going to come down to this property and this property. Can I? And then I have to hold these as well. But the reason why he resigned, it is so freaking draining doing move planner moves. You move all your units, oh, that's a perfect move. Then the bomb missile shows that it's going to hit there. You're like, oh, that ruins everything. Then the bomb missile hits somewhere else, and you have to recalculate everything. It is so frustrating. You find a good move, then you have to go back to the drawing board. You find another good move, then you have to go back to the drawing board. You find a little shitty move, and you're like, I guess that's the best I have, and then you have to roll with it. It is incredibly hard. Move plannering on 1.5 day increment. Von Bolt mirror. You don't want the other person to get the charge, so you have to charge, make sure they don't have enough, which you did last turn. Then you have to make sure the thing doesn't hit you in the worst spot possible, which would be right here, which is another thing. He basically chatted to me. He's like, look, dude, I'm burnt out. I'm so tired. So the psychological impact got to him. And honestly, I was exhausted after this game too. I was relieved that it ended. It was a slog. It was a long slog. Like I said, it could have played out longer. I don't know who would have won. It could have been either one of us. But anyway, I'm going on to the grand finals, and I'm thankful that that's not going to happen for at least another month or two, because the other brackets are not settled yet, and I need at least a month to relax, because this game really took it out of me. I realized that I do not like non-live advanced wars as much as I like live. It is much more stressful, much more taxing on the brain. So I was really glad that it ended. I mean, I was probably going to capture this, and maybe I give myself a 52% chance to win. Very slight, 52%. He shouldn't have resigned here, but I understand why he wanted to. When I say shouldn't, I mean in terms of positioning. Anyway, that was a wild game. I hope I talked about all the concepts. There's a lot to wrap your head around in this game. Honestly, it was exhausting even talking about it. A lot of technical stuff. I probably missed some other stuff as well. There's just so much going on here, but I just want to say well played to ABC Cheese. He's a really good player. I have a lot of respect for the dude, and I have no gripes about him resigning. It could have been a little more entertaining if we kept going and we'd have the final battle and stuff. That would have been, great for the views or whatever, but life happens, and if you're stressed, don't make yourself suffer. So anyway, I hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys were entertained, and I'll catch you guys in the next tournament series in the grand finals. Peace.